Remember when we met? Love was on our minds, and you were mine. We'd stay up all night, forget about life. Beneath the glowing lights, we would waste our time. Remember when you said that we would last a lifetime? But now I find myself just looking for a lifeline. All the words we said are dancing around in my head, and I can't stop thinking. Remember when you said that we would last a lifetime? But now I find myself just looking for a lifeline. All the words we said are dancing around in my head, and you know I know it's over, so then I said, I'll never know you, know you. I'll never hold you, hold you. I'll never miss you, miss you. I'll never hurt you, hurt you. Leaves were turning brown. Remember Brooklyn now? That's when your smile changed, and you were always late. You couldn't hear me
Readings
through the
indicate this
sound of the
area is
city.
safe.
You were there, but you weren't really with me. Lost in the crowd thinking about you, and I know you're thinking about you too. Remember when you said that we would last a lifetime? But now I find myself just looking for a lifeline. All the words we said are dancing around in my head, and I can't stop thinking. Remember when you said that we would last a lifetime? But now I find myself just looking for a lifeline. All the words we said are dancing around in my head, and you know I know it's over, so then I said, I'll never know you, know you. I'll never hold you, hold you. I'll never miss you, miss you. I'll never hurt you, hurt you. Now I'll never hurt you. Now I'll never hurt you. Now I'll never, now I'll never hurt you. Now I'll never hurt you. I'll never know you, know you. I'll never hold you, hold you. I'll never miss you, miss you. I'll never hurt you, hurt you.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Tom Clancy's The Division.
It's bright and early. Things have been done. What time is it? It's 5:58. I've just spent about 40 minutes on top of everything else getting all the vampire videos put up to YouTube. But Twitch was being a bit weird for some reason. Right now, oh god, yeah, right. So something I did notice yesterday, if you go to Intel, look, you can actually see them from zoomed right out. So I have missed the odd few in areas that we've been. So that's actually really cool. That's a really nice little extra quality of life thing, isn't it? Oh my god, I went into the dark zone yesterday. I'm level 25. DZ player bracket 25 to 29. I went into this dark zone yesterday. I got absolutely obliterated. I mean obliterated. I came in through this doorway here, and just down this street, in this sort of area here, it looked like there were two factions, like purple dudes and yellow dudes, and some named fella. What's this flashing for over here? What's that mean? I didn't wonder what that is. And I couldn't even get past them. They were literally like 2-3 shotting me. It was unbelievable. I think the dark zone, if you're going at the bottom level of your bracket, you need to be with a team, I guess. There was nothing I could do. I mean, my gear's not that bad. But I suppose there are people that kind of play that. Let's max a character out at, say, level 20 or 19, for example, you know, when the bracket was 19. But yeah, I left in the end because I was getting like absolutely nowhere. I think I gained like a level, like 1 level. I managed to kill about 3 or 4 dudes, and then some rogue agent appeared, and I sort of hid, and he sort of fired a single pistol shot over my head, basically telling me, "Look, mate, I know you're there." I was like, "No, you don't. No, you don't. Can't see me, bro." Right, let's go back to the main legend. Mission overview. Okay. Shall I? I'll tell you what. Shall we go? Let's have a quick look at that intel situation. Should we just have a morning? Where the hell am I? I'm over here. Look. Zoom out a little bit. What point can I see the? The hell? I'm not seeing anything. Go out of the map and start a game. What the hell's going on? You have to be quite zoomed in, don't you? There you go. Yeah, I mean, I've missed the odd one. I did do a little bit of cleaning up yesterday, just trying to stay on top of it, because I didn't want to spend like 10 hours. It probably took me about 2 hours to pick up some of the collectibles. Let's just drop in there and we'll work our way around. We'll just go and grab some of the echoes, crashed drones, phone recordings, etc. Survival guides. Good morning, Arakan. Aren't you max level yet, nerd? Very close to it, mate. Very close to it. You're right, Persuader. Thanks for chinwag yesterday, mate. I enjoyed that. What are you playing, Arakan? Yeah, we made almost too much progress, I think, yesterday. We kind of raced through it. I've got new guns as well. I've switched out to. I'm trying the LVOAC, which is actually pretty nice. It's quite a nice upgrade. The Vicious Talent. Who knows? It seems reasonable. Got a nice mag and everything in there. And I switched to the SVD. Now this thing's nice. I think I've come to the conclusion that as much as I like the bolt action rifles, which tend to have around that 50 to 60 RPM, the difference that having that 260 RPM makes is shocking. There's nothing more frustrating at my level, where we saw it quite a lot yesterday when Zar joined us. We went from just about one-shotting things to, or say two-shotting things, but you then need that extra shot to get rid of the final slither of health. So, you know, even if it takes you 3 shots, sometimes you need that 4th shot just to get them. If it takes 2 shots, it sometimes takes a 3rd shot just to nail them. And having that extra RPM, just to be able to go, oh Christ, he's still going, boom. Massive difference. Massive difference. You know, so sometimes when you catch one of these guys out in the open, you want him down fast, you know, as he's running across out of cover. And that 55 RPM, it really hindered me at a part yesterday. So we'll see how we get on with that. Obviously, we'll scrap those. Scrap those. Ooh, I've not actually been home. Oh, what's this? I think I'll scrap those. Not nice additional armor. So I don't know how much, you know, I don't know what. I'll have to sit down and do a bit of number crunching. Sometimes I didn't really want to do, but I'd like to know, you know, like.
Warning. You are now leaving the safe area.
50 armor. How much difference does it make in terms of damage mitigation? You know, I'm not really worried yet, because until we hit level 30, it's all a bit of a pointless endeavour, really. But I think once I hit around 30 plus, you know, once the 30 we've got a little bit of gear. It'd be nice to know how damage mitigation works, how toughness works. From what I've seen, on a very loose scale, 1 point in firepower and 1 point in stamina seems to allocate about 30 points in its corresponding. Oh my god! Statistic. I was nearly dead at the start of the blue. Oh, and I've got a special move now as well. I did unlock my special move. I think I had it nearly all day yesterday and completely forgot about it. So I can now press LB and RB, and if you look at my health, look, it gives me like some sort of overheal. So you see how it's now slowly draining, and then it'll give me my 3 pips back. Boom. Now the one thing, again, something that I've not done, which really lets us down, I go to abilities and come into this one. I haven't got any of these mods unlocked, and that's because those mods require the hazmat unit in the medical wing, which is like 200 medical points, which I haven't got. In fact, how would I check that? I think if I go to dossier, no, go to inventory and go to pouches. B. Yeah, level 10 in the dark zone, look. How do I know how much? I can't see it there. Map maybe. I wonder how I found out how many like medical points I've got to allocate without. I mean, I know you can tell it by going back to. Oh, hang on. I wonder if I hover over base of operations, it would tell me. Base of ops. Ah, there we go. Look. So 80, 80, and 100. No, it's still not telling me what I've actually got to spend, is it? Oh well, let's not worry about it. You've been playing PUBG, The Division, and RimWorld. RimWorld. What's RimWorld 1.0 then, I reckon? Does that just mean playing vanilla, does it? Or I'm not kind of into all the lingo with RimWorld. Your weapon is 171,000 DPS and your sniper is 320,000. Lol, I never want to level this again. So that's where you and I differ. I find the leveling early game one of the best parts of this. The end game doesn't actually. As much as I had my issues with it, which is why I stopped playing, because I felt there was very little sense of progression. I'm not that worried about endgame. I'm not someone that's going to chase my own tail trying to get the best of the best of the best of the best for hours and hours and hours just for a minor increment. As long as I still need to be enjoying the core gameplay. It will never be a Diablo ARPG for me. Diablo I only got so obsessed with was because of the real money auction house. So the journey's the more important part for me, I reckon. I could quite happily get to endgame and start playing a game, to be honest. I'm not an obsessive end game player. It's the same with World of Warcraft. Any MMO, it's the journey that I enjoy. I literally just sat here yesterday. I'd got a couple of phone calls to make. I was waiting for a couple of things to compile on my computer, and actually right here, isn't it? Just so I could hear that ding ding ding. Underneath here, then. Oh, there it is. Grab that.
We don't have to love it, but we do have to do it. Some of you might be old enough to remember the old Dark Winter exercise when the feds tried to simulate what something like this would look like. Turns out they predicted this shit show pretty accurately.
80, isn't it?
That's what got Directive 51 written in the first place.
Yeah,
now we get to live with it.
Yeah, you're right, Arakan. Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, I was looking at that. I was thinking, oh, it means I'm on 80%, 60. And for some reason, I stopped reading there. I thought the 80 was 80%, and then 60 was 8. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I need 200 in medical. I need another 120 medical wing supplies in order to unlock basic. Basically, I've got abilities that I don't have mods for, which is obviously bad. That's not helping my character at all. So I definitely need to try and get some medical parts today. It's kind of cool. It's nice getting back under the hood of the game. Good morning, Ice. How you doing, bro? You're about to sleep. Just popping by. Good night. Rest well, Ice. Lovely to see you, mate. I miss you, Ice. I miss you. I miss your antics on our servers, fella. I hope you and Halfwin are both well, mate. Please send my love and rest well, dude. Oh, he's actually got it to like 1.0. He's polishing the games like from early access to beta, I guess. Oh wow, so it's very much still in development as such. Then I always thought RimWorld was one of those games that was sort of finished, then it would just stay in perpetual beta. I'll tell you what, that game, oh mate, honestly, seriously, I mean, no doubt he'll do what all the others have done and port it across to consoles and the Switch. Oh my god. I think if RimWorld was available for the Switch, I would probably already own it. I really can't think of a better game to play as like a large handheld on a commute or something. I think it would be, and that's where he'll make his money. Jesus. It's like Stardew Valley, isn't it? The amount of cash is made from, because all the hard work's kind of done, you know? The actual game itself is done. Just porting it across is, you know, in the bigger scheme of things. And of course, the Switch with the touch screen, it lends itself so well to just almost being still like mouse controlled, you know. See, that worries me. See, if you're saying that it's really hard, see, as a brand new player that knows nothing about the game, is he not making it too difficult for a new player base to come in? I can't believe how many of these damn whatsits are around. Weird. I'm just have a slow stroll around the city, bright and early this morning. Looks like we can get up and around there. Look. Take care, Ross. Look after yourself, mate. You alright, James? I'm not really, dude. I'm just streaming early. I managed to get everything done that I needed to get done sort of at this early hour. So I normally go for a run and chill out or go and sit down near the riverfront for a bit and clear the head, mate. But I thought I'd jump on a bit of the old Division, fella. I managed to get all my Twitch has been really weird with collections recently. I've not been able to upload anything, so I got all that done as well. Not that that was particularly important. But... How are you, James? You alright, fella? Yeah, he's got to be careful he doesn't end up making a game for the die-hard fans. That's where mods come in, you see. He needs to make a game that, in my opinion, very much targets newcomers to the game. You know, by all means, I don't know if there's difficulty settings in RimWorld, but he needs to get a player base up and running, doesn't he? And then that player base can go for, if not higher difficulties within the game, they can add mods that make things more difficult. See, it's things like this, look. This dude. Someone's stuck a bloody traffic cone on his head. It's that sort of personal touch in the whole game, isn't it? That touch of insanity, of humanity gone mad, that is so prevalent in the world design. The world design is exceptional, absolutely exceptional. You can just imagine it, can't you? But a bunch of cleaners or Rikers or wherever they are, just standing around here and just waltzing off, not caring the world, and just sticking a traffic cone on the head, sort of laughing and joking about it. It's. I watched a bit more of the Division 2 yesterday. There's a lot of YouTubers that were given a sneak peek down at Ubisoft HQ, and yeah, some really interesting things there. You know, I was saying about how I don't understand how they're going to make the cover-to-cover system work in those bigger, sort of more open spaces within Washington DC, but actually you can sort of see it already, even in the limited amount of footage that we've got to work with. It's still, I can sort of see it now. Like, I see what they're going for. I think I can understand the concept they went for, rather than the narrow streets.
Yeah, hi,
but yeah, it looks interesting. Looks very interesting. That 50 cal for the sniper looks bloody lethal. But again, I watched 2 other YouTubers yesterday, and they said exactly the same thing as the other 2 that I watched. Ammo is scarce. Ammo is not easily come by. So, for example, the 50 caliber sniper rifle, you use it sort of when you need to use it, not to headshot every trash mob in the game. Quite an interesting change of strategy there. I don't know whether that's going to bite them in the arse or not. I don't think it's scarce to the point where you can't use your guns and you're running around like not able to do anything. But I think the more specialist ammunition certainly is more restricted. So, but again, we don't know how that's all going to work. I'm sure they've done more than enough testing. Can't imagine anything worse. I mean, this game's kind of cool. You do get low on ammunition, but there's plenty of places to restock, and it just means a bit of downtime getting it. Or you can switch to another weapon. So, for example, I carry MG ammunition, don't I? So I carry an MG with me at times, just in case. But yeah, we'll see how it all plans out. It's like, oh no, we can't get up there. It's in the building. Can't get in this door, can we? I went to get 2 of these yesterday, and both of them were behind openable doors, which are actually quite rare in the game. It sort of threw a bit of a curveball at me. I also found a cherry picker with what looked like a sparking on-off switch, and I must have spent 10 minutes trying to shoot it, trying to get it to work, and then I found a door about 3 feet away. Civilian in need.
Thanks a lot for this.
Have an energy bar, bro. Ah, is that it there? Ah, so it must be in here then. Oh, the apples and pears. Did you play any? Oh, James, I managed to catch a little bit. I ended up having to shoot out in the end, believe it or not. Of your Elder Scrolls Online, you were doing a 12-man, or I think they're called 12-man raids, right? Is that right? It looked like you were having quite a lot of fun, bro. Back at work, are you, James? Ah, look, we've come across here. So we actually got across that area. Unless there's a way around the back. Can't wait until the Division 2. Yeah, it's a long way to go, though, isn't it, I reckon? It's almost that... So sometimes I just wish they wouldn't tell us. I just wish sometimes they'd just say, oh, you know, the Division 2's coming. That's all we need to know. When it's coming, who knows? But when you know it's not until March, and you know, and that's assuming everything goes according to plan, 2019, it's like I was literally sitting there, sort of counting on my fingers at one point. You know, so it's going 7 months, 8 months. Oh Jesus, it's nearly 9 months away. Yeah, it's how the hell do I get up there? Can't go in that door on that side, can we? I can't imagine that's the case, I reckon. I'd be very surprised. Are you saying that I can't do that? I have to do that? Nah, not buying it at all, mate. That sounds like bollocks to me, mate. I'd be very... Well, why would a game do that, dude? There's nothing to stop you just doing that with any gun, is there? I'd be very surprised if you have to aim down sights. I'd be very surprised, dude. I won't believe that until I see that confirmed, mate. Trying to think of the footage I watched yesterday, I reckon. I have to say, nearly everything I saw yesterday was the scope, though. I mean, I'm not saying it is inaccurate, but that's a bit shit. Yeah, definitely Dominus. Yeah, I've had a few. This is the first one I've been sort of semi-realistically stuck on, actually. Normally we just find a little door, don't we? I actually marked it. It almost looks like we could get through up there, but that is where we were,
yeah,
isn't it? I think.
Whatever.
I should imagine that's more likely early code or something, Eric. I'm really struggling to believe why they would stop you from using a sniper rifle as hip fire. I mean, yes, you know, it might not be the smartest way to play, but it just seems like it's taking all... I mean, they might as well just automatically put you into that mode. In which case, I could get that, I suppose. So you don't do that and then that. It just automatically puts you in scoped mode. Perhaps for, you know, some of the larger caliber sniper rifles. That I could sort of maybe get my head around. But to be able to do that but not be able to pull fire just seems ludicrous, doesn't it? Maybe we have to go up and down. What the hell? I'm actually genuinely quite confused on this one. Not getting over there, are we? Whoa, I am really confused. Really confused. Definitely nothing I'm missing around there, is there? You wouldn't even be coming up across from there, would you? Because there's no way he's making that jump. So it must be over on the... Yeah, it's not even on this side, I don't think. You're right, Lethean. Did it all go according to plan in the end, James? Like I said, I didn't manage to catch a grand finale. Ah, it's in this building here, look. We've got it. Should have noticed the scaffold. God damn it. Very clever. Very clever. I love that. Smart little puzzles. Interesting.
Hey, Danny, it's me. Well, you probably heard about what's going on. They're still saying flu, but I don't know. I took Vanessa into the ER again last night. It was bad. She had a fever of 103. She was hallucinating and, well, yeah. They kept her in this time. I'm not family, so they won't tell me anything. I don't think they know anything anyway. I'm still fine. Make sure you tell Mom. but it's getting weird. So many people are getting sick, the hospitals can't handle it. And they're setting up clinics in the parks and shit. It's fucked up. I'll try you later.
Thank you very much for the resub, Aletheon. 2 months on the clock, sir. Thank you very much indeed. And thank you for using your Twitch Prime with us as well. That means a lot. You've considered us for your Prime, mate. Thank you very much, Aletheon. Thank you very much, sir. I hope all is well with you, mate. Let's get some sub-love in chat for Aletheon, guys and girls. Thank you very much, bro. Do appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Echo, straight down. Let's do it. I think all of them are like that, to be honest, in Dominus. It's why it's not worth it. I see sort of people like stressing out about them. Oh, guys, so stupid. Oh. But they're just like little puzzles, aren't they? I actually like the way they've done them. There's a little. So some of them are straightforward, and some of them are like literally right underneath your nose. But some of them are. They throw a little bit of a curveball at you. I kind of like them. A nice little extra addition to the game. Thank you very much, Aletheon. Good morning, sir. How you doing, sir? Getting too excited and need to play a game. Yeah, I just had
Active
one of
echo
those
beacon
weird
detected.
mornings, to be honest, so where everything actually went sort of according to plan. The girlfriend's, oh my god. River Dog! Thank you for the bits, mate. Thank you for the biddies, man. That's a lot of biddies, River Dog. You've been very, very, very generous with the biddies, mate. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate it, River Dog. Nice to see you again, geezer. Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. Cheers, buddy. Oh, well, with first person in PUBG, I reckon. What, so you actually, so it's not a case of not liking it or anything, you actually physically struggle to play it, do you? That's a shame, isn't it, mate? Is there anything you can do to change that, I reckon? Like turn off head bob or anything like that? Thank you very much, River Dog. Thank you very much indeed, bro.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
See the, is it the... It's like the, is it the... Well, what's the leaf on the Canadian flag? Is it actually on the flag? Canadian flag? Is it in it? Maple leaf or something? It's like he's got like maple leaf boxer shorts on or something. Yeah, just one of those weird mornings. Now, it's going to be interesting as well. Yesterday we didn't have a crash, and I played the game... Well, I left the game on for about 6 hours yesterday. I forgot it was running. And not a single crash. Now, today, nothing done differently. Not a sausage. Booted up via Uplay, and it put me into windowed mode. So I've had to change it back to full screen. And that makes me wonder if something's going to break the game today. So again, there's definitely that DX12 renderer, Uplay overlay conflicting with Steam overlay, Uplay versus Steam boot up, full screen versus windowed. Those are the issues. So somewhere in there, depending on your system configuration, that is what causes the crash to the desktop. So it's very weird that yesterday didn't do anything, booted up the game through Uplay rather than Steam, and we got a whole day. In fact, like close to 15 hours this game was on without so much as a hiccup. And then today, I just booted up Uplay and it decided to put me into some 1440p windowed mode. I was like, what? What's that all about? So, we'll have to see. It's definitely the game. It's not, you know, us. There's definitely weird things going on with the game and how it stores your settings. So we're slowly narrowing it down at least. It is the maple leaf. I thought it was the maple leaf. Yeah, it's a nice flag actually, the Canadian flag. Right, that's part one, but now we've got to get up there. No, Zar, we are not shooting the woof woofs. That's your job if you're around, mate. Oh, I just saw a sniper. See what I mean? That ability to be able to go pop, pop, pop. Oh, that's some bad shit. It's the first fight of the day, actually, isn't it? That was cool yesterday when we popped the car tyre and it sort of caused the car to flop down on the floor. And it's like he panicked and sort of rolled out from underneath it, thinking something was going on, didn't he? Oh, shit! Crafty sod. That was a bit cheeky, wasn't it? Wasn't expecting. I'm not warmed up yet. Cheeky little sausage. That did surprise me. Yeah, I've not actually played with the SVD properly yet. So it's like I was saying, when you switch to a weapon, oh my god, it's so weird. The auto fire on this, what's it called? The what the hell is it called? LVOA. It feels tighter. It feels it has a really high, what I'd call vertical recoil, but it's in a very narrow trajectory up. Whereas I noticed with the AK-47, it was far more erratic. It was like a general spread, so it was quite hard to control the recoil on full auto. This the SVD, I've not played with this thing too much yet. No, this thing. So I'm not sure what the recoil's like on it. I noticed one of them, what was I using yesterday? The Scar... No, the day before, the Scar H. It nearly always tugged up and to the right. Like, almost all the time. Not every time, but nearly all the time. After that first shot, doom, up right, doom, up right. It's amazing how the different guns, like actually handle. Really nice. Even for, like, someone like me, who just, you know, couldn't give a toss about real life replication in terms of, yeah, people, oh, it doesn't sound like that in real life, you know, and I think that's a wonderful attention to detail, but it doesn't bother me, you know. I just assume things are a little bit like they sound like, but it's not going to ruin or ruin, you know, I'm not going to notice those errors, whereas obviously, you know, someone that's, you know, firmly ensconced into the real world firearms, it would probably drive them potty. I mean, I can understand it because I can relate to it with car engine noises in my racing sims. You know, sometimes they do such a bad replication of the sound of an engine inside the actual cabin that it's sort of like, oh god, you know, I don't want to drive that car because it just doesn't sound right, you know. But even for me, in this game, I get that sense that guns genuinely are different. Then it's not just a statistical change. You know, well, this one has like X number of bullets in a magazine. This one can have this attachment, this one can't. It actually does genuinely feel like a very different recoil, weight, etc. That's interesting. That's where we want to be. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Yeah, no, yeah, oh, it's okay. What's that leading? You struggle with the controls. We're not getting over from that side, are we? In what way, mate? What do you mean? What the hell? Can't get up there, can we? Say no chance, mate. Bit of scaffolding that goes round, perhaps. Getting on the fire escape, aren't we? Take care, Arican. Nice to see you, mate. Have a nice rest. What's a compensator on the automatics? What in this, James? Really? Maybe, I was going to say, maybe we can get in the building. Work our way up that way. But it doesn't appear to be a solution, does it? Unless there's another way up. Oh, these drones are nightmarish. Oh shit, hold on a minute. Oh, that same patch back.
Take it from the other side. Let's get moving. Get that fucker out of cover.
God, I'm really bad with this at the minute.
Don't let up there.
I'm more sniper taking that, mate. How the hell do I get up there? Unless it's via this. Could be, couldn't it? It'd take me ages to get all these. I was flying through them yesterday. It looks like this zone's just up to the ante a little bit. They're far more involved. Could even be through there, couldn't it? Using the dual shot 4, really, Yazar?
What is your problem?
It's like we're on to something. No? Really? This just brings me back up. Really? Oh my god. How the hell do we get over there? It's not helping with the snow, is it? Walkway between the two buildings? I can't see one. Oh, up there you mean? Ah. Yeah, maybe across that way, so. Damn, that snow's amazing. Yeah, I think you're onto something there, mate. Here we go. Bish, bash, bosh, bro. What? In what way they're clunky then, James? What's I know you said that they defaulted. Was it tab for aim down sights? Which I must admit, even I was quite surprised at that one. I know I've not used mouse and keyboard for a shooter for a long time, but that did seem like what? Love it when the snow comes in like this. I'm gonna. Again, it's weird, isn't it? As much as I'm looking forward to the Division 2, there's so much about this game that I'm gonna miss. You know, I love this sort of. I suppose that, you know, that festive season gone wrong. There's something just really captivating about it. Sean the Monkey Man, thank you for the follow, bro. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, do you play? You think that's the deal that it needs more? Oh, you using mouse and keyboard? Were you, Alethea? Yeah, I mean, I'm using the controller, mate, and honestly, it feels great. Absolutely fantastic. Every time there's a cock up, it's down to me, mate. Apart from sometimes in heated combat, when I roll out the way and I suddenly end up stuck on a wall, and it's like I didn't want to get into cover there. You know, I'm trying to be mobile. I'm trying to get away. Sometimes it just feels a little bit too sticky, but I'm going to be honest, I reckon I've probably put, how many hours we've been putting on this game now, guys? It's quite a few, right? 20 plus hours, I would have thought. It's only happened twice, mate, to be fair. So, you know, put it down to user error. But, yeah, sometimes like I'll roll back like this and suddenly snap straight into there, and I'm like, no, I still need to be running, get out. I think part of the problem is for the controller, and I suppose I could remap. I've got my sort of panic roll got my run. But it's also the same button. It's double tap for roll, and it's single tap for cover. So I can sort of see why it's happening. But like I said, it doesn't happen enough to warrant... I mean, you'll hear the scream of frustration when I'm in a firefight and I suddenly snap into cover when I'm really, really trying to get away. Or snap into the wrong cover, but like I said, I can't really say it's affected the gameplay a huge amount. But that's about the only criticism I've got of the control. See, I'm using the Xbox Elite as well, so I don't even need to push in thumbsticks. So on I think on normal controls, that is right thumbstick, and that is right thumbstick. Now, there's nothing worse for me than taking aim at something and having to press the thumbstick in. I don't need to do that. I could be taking my aim and then just simply hold the paddle down. I'm not having to do another motion on my right analog stick. Same with running. I don't need to press in the left thumbstick. I press a paddle. So again, I'm not having to affect my movement stick by clicking it in. My movement stays exactly how I want it, and I click a paddle underneath the controller. They have to
Hey,
add paddles
Dano, it's
to
me.
the next gen console.
I know, but things got a little hectic. My Soch essay took longer than expected, and then Vanessa got sick, and, you know, I wanted to bring her chicken soup, stream Gosling movies with her and stuff, be the doting boyfriend. You gotta get into the city and meet her sometime soon, man. But not this week. She's still sick as a dog, and a thing seems to be going around. Wouldn't want you taking a bug home to the boys. Anyway, tell Mom I'm sorry, and I promise to get out to PA for the holidays, okay? You're the best. Later.
Later, alligator. Let's go and get that one up top left. Okay. The bullet sponge. Well, you see, you know, in Dominus, it's that. Yeah, a lot of people keep talking about the bullet sponge. They're not getting rid of bullet sponge at all, mate. You know, at the end of the day, the game is designed around leveling gear. There's always going to be bullet sponge. I think people are going to be sorely disappointed with that. They've gone into quite a lot of depth to explain. It's going to stay very much the way it is now. You know, the bullet sponge, as they perceive it, has been very much fixed in this version of the game. That they've enabled weaponry and various talent combinations to seriously offset the bullet sponginess of enemies. The only core difference in the Division 2, as the devs are saying, is that what they've done is they have put a lot more thought into weak points for enemy characters. So you're still gonna find that if you know, especially if you're playing solo and you're up against a particular mob, that it's gonna be hard to take them down. You know, there's gonna be a bullet sponge element to the game. That's never going anywhere. But yeah, strategy-wise, you can actually hit the weak spots. There's a much bigger focus on strategy, positioning, and hitting weak points on targets. If you know, but that exists in this now. You know, that's been addressed the same way in this. I think people that are suddenly going to think that the Division 2 radically changes bullet sponginess are going to get a real big shock. But, you know, it's part and parcel of this style of game. There's very little they can do about that. So yeah, it's, you know, it was a big issue back when the game first released. It's been addressed to some degree as you know, as the game that we now play. Makes all the difference being able to take those extra shots with this. I don't think I'll ever go for a range that's got less than sort of 200 RPM on it. I feel that's like the sweet spot. These double taps are so important. I just didn't have to, and that's why I'm so bad with this, because I'm so used to sort of taking a shot and then having to wait for the bolt action to refire. I need to get into the rhythm of pop pop. I noticed if you're doing enough damage on first shot, it does actually like almost stagger the opponent. What do you think about the Halo Infinite announcement, Elysium? I know nothing about Halo, mate. I've never liked Halo since the first one, dude. What is it, mate? What is Halo Infinite? I've always loved the concept of Halo. I love the concept of what the game is, the lore behind it. I love Master Chief. I love the character design. I love the weapon design. Master Chief, the orbital dropship troopers. I love it all. You know, I love Halo. Apart from the aliens. The aliens in Halo are the exact reason I don't play Halo. I would much rather... It's why I switched. Although they're two very different franchises with two very different playstyles, it's the reason I switched to Gears of War, mate. Back in the day. You know, when Halo was everywhere and Epic were banging out Gears of War under Cliff Bleszinski and all the rest of it. I hated the aliens. They were too colourful. I know it sounds crazy, mate, and I know it's a really... Yeah, but in a world where there's so many games vying for my attention, the alien aesthetic, the alien design in Halo, I can't stand them. They're all glowy and purple and shiny, and these like power swords that just look ridiculous, like two giant pronged toothpicks. And I could never get into it. It's why I kind of really wanted Destiny to be the Borderlands that it never really became. Borderlands, as much as I love the art style, I still prefer something that's deeper, darker, grittier, and that's what I loved about Gears of War. It was just dark. It had a sense of weight, of momentum, and I loved like the locust.
Where does this Directive 51 thing leave us? Doing our damn jobs. You're still gonna be on the streets. You're gonna be helping people. You're gonna be doing the same thing you've been doing. In the ops centers, people like me will be playing advisory roles. We're gonna fall under the Vision Authority, but if that's what it takes... Look, we've been through this before. 9/11, Sandy. Fed stepped in because we needed them. Things get bad enough, that's what happens.
Yeah, they felt believable to me, and they felt threatening to me. And Halo enemies always just almost look like a caricature, almost like a joke, a cartoonified alien. This is sort of combatants, and that's the only reason. I mean, I played the first Halo, believe it or not. First time I played Halo was actually on the old Xbox, with the old Xbox Duke controller. And it was like a revelation to me. I don't think I'd ever played a more fun first-person shooter at the time. But I just didn't like the franchise. I didn't like where they took it. So I know nothing about it, mate, to be fair. It seems like any Halo game is never surrounded by hype. I think it's one of those franchises that they just kind of... Maybe what I've touched upon is a part of it. Maybe it's almost like a serious war game that's been kiddified, and I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean like aesthetically, it's very colourful and bright at times, and I think people kind of want that almost. I think there is a degree of sort of wanting something gritty, believable. I mean, you take like the Halo aliens and you put them up against the Locust. You just get the impression that the Locust would rip them to shreds and laugh and drink beer out of their skulls. There's just something like just a bit lame about Halo enemies. For me. You're right, Big K. How you doing, bro? Yeah, this is it, crew. I mean, a lot of people criticise this game for still being bullet sponge, but I'll tell you what, if you watch the guys and girls that have the proper loadouts and the proper gear for the proper encounters, Jesus Christ, they cut through them like knives through butter, mate. I mean, I'm still going to hit bullet sponges like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I'm not particularly highly geared. I'm not particularly, I don't really understand everything there is to know about the game at this point. In terms of damage mitigation, damage output, like you said, armor ratings, etc. How to skill up and perk up, and what stats to use that provide a really sort of symbiotic loadout with others, let alone playing that in group play. I've seen teams of people on this on YouTube. I'm doing a little couple of... I've tried not to do too much spoiler, but I've seen teams doing those... is it the shoot content? And they sit there and they're chatting about perks and things that I don't even know about, and mods and things like, well, what is it? Predator, which I think gives you some sort of heal back or something over time. And they sit there for 5 minutes chatting. They all get a loadout, and then they start up, and they are literally just wading through packs of enemies as if they don't exist. They're just going toe to toe. It's like non-stop gunfire. Their health bar never seems to move, or if it does, it drops down really low and then spasms straight back up because some sort of procs triggered it. Oh mate, honestly, I think the bullet sponge issue is there for people that either just haven't got the gear and are probably playing in areas that are a little bit beyond them, or just don't know how to really optimize builds, and that will probably be me, mate. You know, I'm sure I'm under no illusion I will hit the bullet sponge issue again and think what the hell, and then have to make a decision about how I can overcome that, I suppose. See, back in the
Lieutenant Colonel Bliss, this is Arthur Tran from Polliner Newen Creative Associates. First, let me say what a pleasure it is to be working for a company like yours and with someone like you, so devoted to keeping our great country safe. I've sent you the storyboards for the proposal for your firm, which we're calling Island Thunder. It starts with a flyover by a wing of attack helicopters, all firing full blast. Behind them, there's a massive explosion, followed by a pan down to where we see one soldier in your company's uniform taking out a dozen enemies with a massive machine gun. Tasteful heavy metal, and a voiceover that emphasizes the sorts of awesome adventures your men have been on a day-to-day basis. Tell me what you think.
That light just sitting there swinging. Yeah, see, this is it. This is it, Kevin. There are certain... Unfortunately, Kevin, for me, it's a sci-fi thing. It's not a Halo thing or another genre thing when it comes to aesthetics. I'm a real hardcore, die-hard, old-school RPG player. I love my Tolkien take on, if you like, high fantasy. I love my more David Eddings, David Gemmell, my Margaret Way's Tracy Hickman and Dragonlance style of fantasy. I'm not a massive sci-fi fan. Sci-fi has to have a lot of things for me to enjoy it. You give me a green goblin that is well rendered or coloured properly, and I'm happy with the goblin. You know? You give me an elf that's got slightly pointy ears and looks like an elf, I'm quite happy. With sci-fi, I'm really fussy. Really fussy. I can't stand things that don't look or appear to be too wacky. A really good example, right? I love Star Wars. I love the original Star Wars films. Big fan of them. Genuinely loved them. Genuinely always felt I was a legit Star Wars fan from day one. But remember the Mos Eisley Cantina? That particular scene where they've got all the different aliens at the bar. I'm getting absolutely destroyed, guys. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Honestly, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not even trying, am I? I'm just getting destroyed by some... Am I in some sort of like slightly higher area or something? What's that little icon he's got next to his head there? You see that little icon he's got there? Sound like a right muppet. Let's get back in the zone, bro. God damn it. What level area? Are we in a higher area than I thought? We're not. We're in level 16 to 18 zone. I'm getting my ass handed to me. Yeah, when it comes to sci-fi, it has... I don't know what it is. It has to have a semblance of... almost, and it's going to sound crazy, almost normality. You start giving me aliens with really bright coloured skin and really wacky bright coloured fur, for example, and I'm like, no, not watching that shit, mate. I need to have a believable spacecraft. I need to have believable guns, or guns that look interesting. I love Star Trek. I absolutely love Star Trek. And you know the one thing I cannot stand? Phasers. Phasers are just the crappiest weapon in the entire sci-fi universe, mate. They don't look threatening. They look like a piece of plastic. They just look terrible. Absolutely bloody terrible, mate. That's me with sci-fi. You know, Mass Effect was a game franchise that I absolutely adored. And that's because I felt like the majority of the alien races lent themselves to being, if not believable, they didn't go down the route of just absurdity, which so much sci-fi seems to make itself stand out. There's a sniper here, isn't there? Is that why I was struggling? Was it in popping?
Hey, pigs don't belong here.
Oh, come on, that hit you then and you know it. Sniper standoff. Not doing jack diddly squat, are you, woman? Boom. There we go. Right. Let's go and get his phone. So yeah, I can get that. You know, I can get that people are the exact opposite to me. You know, it makes sense. Like I said, I'm not a huge sci-fi fan. I typically prefer stuff that's like slightly futuristic. Yeah, okay, it's part of the reason. You know, the more I think about it, right, the more I'm gonna have to start considering myself not a Fallout fan. I've only ever been a fan of one game in that series. It was Fallout 3. It's really weird. I've always called myself a Fallout fan as if I'm like a rabid lapping it all up. Fallout's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Fallout's actually a bit shit when I come to think about it. There's nothing about Fallout that I particularly like apart from the VAT system, which a lot of people can't stand.
Hey, big brother. It's Joel.
Thanks for the follow, Chris.
Vanessa died. That's gotta be the most fucked up thing I ever said. A month ago, we were sexting in Comp Lit this morning. They wouldn't let me see her. I told them her family's in Hong Kong. They know the airports are shut down. Jesus, this all happened so fast. I don't know where she is, Danny. I don't know what they did with her. University canceled classes. Bridges, tunnels, everything's closed. I'm stuck here. Tell Mom I'm fine. I'm not, but I'm not sick at least. Call me, please.
Whoa, have you got a link to Dragon Age 4, Alethian? I didn't see anything about Dragon Age 4. Whoa, dude. Feel free to link the hell away, mate, because honestly, I didn't see anything about Dragon Age. I can't believe I missed that, mate. Dragon Age is one of those franchises that it started off amazing. Dragon Age Origins, fantastic game. Then became an absolute sack of shit. Then became quite possibly an even bigger sack of shit. And then with Dragon Age Inquisition, which I do get the names wrong sometimes, but the last one, the fourth one, was it? Dragon Age Inquisition, was it? I can't remember. There were two, right? There was Hawk. There was Dragon Age Origins, which was a very, very, very cleverly done, almost pause time strategy game, wasn't it? But fantastic on PC only, I think. Then you had the one with Hawk and back-flipping knobbers with pew-pew rainbow unicorn laser beams flying out of their arse. And then I'm sure there was another one. Maybe I'm getting confused with the DLC, though. And then there was Dragon Age Inquisition, which was the more recent one, which seemed to be a bit of a return to form. So I really hope Dragon Age 4, as you're calling it. So maybe the word just the 3. I must be thinking of a DLC. Let's hope there's let's hope they make it a little bit more involved again. You didn't like Star Wars? A lot of people didn't, mate. A lot of people didn't like Star Wars. Star Wars for me though was the very first time that I could relate to a large-scale space opera, but for want of a better description. There were a lot of space things around. When I was of an age, and I mean, I certainly wasn't around when the Star Wars films came out, but you know, my dad was a big fan. And what I found fascinating, well, again, it happens a lot to me, especially with games sometimes. It's not about the film itself; it's about what they achieved with it. Jurassic Park, the very first Jurassic Park, for example. I think I remember that more for the dinosaurs than I do for the film itself. Star Wars, I remember for the wondrous orchestral sound. I remember it for the space battles and the noise of a TIE fighter. The whole thing, the scale of it, the booming orchestral music as Darth Vader came on screen. And I remember it for that more than I do, I suppose, for being like a good plot, a good film. But it did have that good versus bad vibe to it. It had the David versus Goliath vibe. It had, you know, a cast of unknown actors at the time that did a tremendous job. And that's why I like Star Wars. And as you can understand, that's why I don't like any of the new Star Wars, because none of that's there. It better be better than Dragon Age Inquisition. I thought Dragon Age Origins was the best. The second one, absolute farce of a game. Dragon Age Inquisition, which I think is the latest one that's actually released, which is a couple of years ago now.
Show some compassion.
That felt like it was at least coming back on itself rather than going further down a rabbit hole of poop. Dragon Age Origin was very good. Yeah, very good cop. Yeah, this is it. It's weird, isn't it? I keep hearing about people talking about Fallout. Oh, I love Fallout. I'm such a huge Fallout fan. What have you played? I played Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. But I didn't like Fallout 3, but I did like New Vegas, they'll say. And so did you play Fallout 4? Yeah, I played it, but I didn't finish it. It's amazing how many people think that they're massive Fallout fans, myself included. I'm going to completely reassess that. I actually find Fallout actually quite a boring, empty, this is sort of style of game. I felt Fallout 3 was the richest environment. I know it's post-apocalyptic. I'm not talking about, you know, thriving, bustling cities and things. New Vegas, the whole art aesthetic bored me to death. I didn't like the neon lights. It didn't feel like a Fallout game. Fallout 4 was just atrocious. Just an atrocious Fallout game. A good game, but an atrocious Fallout game. I'm actually looking at modern games. Shit. Seeing if I can find some sort of reason to play it. I've heard the survival mode is supposed to be quite intriguing. Starting to get in the rhythm with this thing a little bit. You thoroughly enjoyed Inquisition, though not a great game in comparison to the rest, but still. What? But what? You felt it was not as good as the second one? I thought the second one was appalling. Such a cheap, but I don't think I've ever played a game, right? What was the second one called? The one with Hawk, whatever his name was. I have never, ever, and I mean this genuinely, there's no other game that I can honestly say achieved this, that reused assets as much as that did. It's like it had like 10% of the in-game assets that any other game of its ilk had, and they were not just used once, they were used time and time and time again. The whole second game felt like I hardly even moved zone. It was appalling, absolutely. The only time I've ever picked it up in a game. And not only did I pick it up, I was floored by the lack of effort that had gone into it. It was shocking. Absolutely shocking. Reused assets on a scale that is completely unprecedented in any other game that I've ever played in all the years I've been playing games. An absolute classic EA cash-in. To just bang a sequel out the door. Press a button for something magical to happen. I don't want my dwarves backflipping. I don't need to see like rainbow lights coming from his heels as he backflips across an encounter. He's a bloody rogue, mate. You know, let him be like he was in Dragon Age. You know, a sneaky McSneaky dude. Not some tumbleweed bloody Circus clown. Absolutely shocking. Shocking. Coming on the heels of Dragon Age Origins as well. I mean, Jesus, what were they thinking? Need to get some combat in, otherwise I'm going to struggle when we start doing missions. It's just called Dragon Age 2, is that what they called it? Yeah. Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, and then whatever this DA4 is then. Oh, it's just a comment. Oh, right. Oh, I was going to say. Just that. So they just said Dragon Age 4 is coming along well. Yeah, well, I mean, I think we all know Dragon Age is being made. Yeah. I thought you meant I'd missed like a reveal trailer releasing. I'd like to go back and play Inquisition. I actually, it was at a time, it was weird. It was at the same time as Dying Light came out. That sort of back end of year, wasn't it? And my computer, we just moved house, and my computer equipment was all put away. So I was playing the PlayStation 4 quite heavily. And I actually remember thinking, I've got to play a game. I need to play a game over Christmas. And I'd heard a little bit about Dragon Age Inquisition being half decent, so I literally cycled into the Steam Centre and picked up Dragon Age Inquisition at game. Actually paid full retail price for it, and came home and had a whale of time. I thought it was beautiful, really beautiful game. The problem was I played it wrong. I actually played Dragon Age Inquisition incorrectly. I didn't leave the starter zone, or what actually. You're supposed to go and travel all around the map from very early on. Picking up, you essentially unlock zones, don't you, by, I can't remember what you do, but you help people out, however, whatever that equivalent of unlockability, whether it be some sort of equivalent of currency or upgrades for different zones, whatever it was. And I literally spent my entire, I played it like I play all my other games, because I've been sort of like, I suppose, hard-coded muscle memory into how to play an RPG. You start in the starter zone, like this, and I go and do all the missions, and then I go to the next zone, and I do all the missions. That's not how you're supposed to play Dragon Age Origins at all. And in fact, the devs released quite a lot of information about this at post-release, didn't they? About how they hadn't really, or they had underestimated I suppose, like I said, the muscle memory that gamers have for RPGs. You're supposed to do like a couple of quests in this zone, then go do a couple of quests in this zone, and then do some quests up here. And you're sort of travelling around, building up a sort of portfolio of information of current events and strengthening smaller outposts and things. I ended up playing a whole zone, getting all the collectibles, and I just got bored out of my brain because I wasn't progressing the plot. But it didn't handhold us, and like I said, they sort of paid the price for that. They kind of assumed people would want to travel around a lot more in a big RPG, but actually what was happening was the statistics they showed was that something like
an arms deal at the ice rink in Stuyvesant.
Was it a shocking statistic? Like, it was unprecedented, wasn't it? Because they gather data, don't they, especially from consoles, and it was something like, I don't know, like 60% of 50 or 60% of the people that played Dragon Age Origins never continued beyond a certain point, and that point was like really early on in the game because everyone got so goddamn bored of it because they were essentially playing the game wrong. Now, you know, there's no such thing as playing the game wrong. That's down to the developer to make sure you're playing the game right. But if you're going to suddenly radically change the way that a lot of RPGs have been built around the years, including and most importantly your own franchise up until that point, then you need to make it clear to the player that this needs to be played a different way. So they've only got themselves to blame, but we've also got ourselves to blame for not thinking outside the box a little bit more. Yeah, it's quite interesting, that. And very interesting to see their take on it and how surprised they were that although they'd given us all the tools to go and explore from very early on, actually nobody did, and as a result got very, very tired very quickly. Just to drink my coffee, I've got a tickly throat. What's that, Scarface? A major Star Wars blew people's minds when it first came because they really hadn't seen anything like it before. That's what I was sort of getting at, Scarface, yeah? You know, it was this huge, sprawling, epic space adventure, wasn't it? There was nothing else that did it on that level. I mean, do you remember watching all the old footage about how... Because it was all models. It was literally models. Unbelievable, mate. Remember seeing the pictures of the original Star Destroyers. I remember actually looking at, there was, I mean, there's been loads. I don't know whether it was on a DVD or something, or where I first saw it. I mean, I've seen loads over the years, a making of Star Wars, and the Star Destroyer model with the lights inside it, and all the things they had to do to stop light bleeding through various segments of it. It was unbelievable, mate. Absolutely amazing achievement. You know, really, really, so, I mean, the detail that went into those models was, oh, imagine having that as a job. God damn, it must have been incredible at the time. Really struggling with this. I can't aim fast enough. I don't know whether I'm sitting funny or what. I just feel completely terrible at the minute. What about the new Assassin's Creed? Amazing, mate. To be honest, mate, I'm the last person you should be asking about Assassin's Creed because I never had an issue with Assassin's Creed in the first place. Assassin's Creed to me is as much about exploring a new city, a new environment that has been painstakingly put together by a huge team of very, very talented, creative artists. The Assassin's Creed Unity, for example, even going back to the early days with Ezio and some of the Rome stuff. Unprecedented again, word of the day. Attention to detail, an artist's recreation of an era gone by, whether it be clothing, architecture, sound design, you know, to add that extra cherry on the cake. I've played Unity for many hours, including a console version, and I don't think I've even done one of the primary missions in the game. I've just spent hours wandering around the city. I love what Assassin's Creed, or what Ubisoft enabled their studio to do with Assassin's Creed. I never once played Assassin's Creed and got bored. You know, I don't play the game to collect every collectible, every feather. I play it to wander around and then at some point think, let's go do some quests. So I had no issues. How the hell do I get in there? Oh, it's around there, look. When Assassin's Creed Origins came out, thank you for the follow, Mr. Flufferbottom. And Elegon, God bless his soul. Thank you, Mr. Elegon. Very kindly bought me a copy of it. I was very, very concerned that it was going to be a pew pew McPew Assassin's Creed game. It was going to be all about combat and not about being an assassin, and I was going to hate it. And I was really worried, but I also knew I had to play it because all the pre-release footage just looks so insane, and I fell in love with it. But I'm probably one of the very rare and few folks, if you talk to, I kind of miss the old days as well.
No, that's fine. When we're done, you're gonna let me go, right? That was the deal. Anyway, my name is Sharona Diaz, and I was a nurse practitioner at Bellevue, the hospital. Worked there 16 years, so I've seen all kinds of bad stuff, but nothing like this. Okay, I'm sorry, the first cases we got? Early December, the night of the 5th. They started coming in, just a couple at first. The symptoms they presented looked like flu, and that's what we thought it all was. I mean, we knew it was going to be a bad season, and that's what we thought this was. So we gave them fluids and sent them home like you do. I mean, how are we supposed to know?
And that right there is how it's going to happen one day, boys and girls. Something is one day going to come along, and we are not going to be ready for it, are we? Yeah, I do still miss the old Assassin's Creed. However, when I played Origins, all the way through it, I was saying, "Oh my god, it's really weird. It's like playing The Witcher, but it's like playing it's like playing The Witcher, but not quite as in depth in terms of individuality, freedom of choice. It was very much, you know, a few pieces of armor and a few different weapons. I say that sounds quite negative, but actually they did a very good job of it. But you know, it wasn't as detailed as The Witcher, but it's still, I kept saying it's weird. I feel like I'm playing an RPG rather than an Assassin's Creed game. And one of the things that really surprised me was that I love my stealth. I love my Assassin's Creed kind of sneaky. I'm the sort of person that used to play Assassin's Creed when I was doing the missions, and I would redo a timeline because or a memory block because I didn't do it stealthily. I wanted to go back and do it quietly, take the target out and not be seen, get out of there, maybe smoke bomb and vanish. And I was playing Assassin's Creed, and I suddenly found that I was actually almost enjoying getting caught because it meant I could go into combat, and I thought the combat was absolutely brilliant. I loved the combat. I kept saying throughout our entire playthrough on Twitch that I'm so sorry if it goes wrong, if we don't get in quietly and get out quietly, I'm going to go for it. And we had some fantastic battles, you know, really trying to fight our way out of these forts and things. It was wicked. And of course, Assassin's Creed, what's the new one called? Excuse me, Odyssey, isn't it? It's set in Greece. It looks like now, I was watching an Ubisoft developer talking about it. This is the next stage. They have decided it is becoming an RPG. It's becoming a fully fledged Witcher-esque style RPG. Origins was the base foundation. Odyssey is the next step. So this is where they'll start fleshing out more of the RPG elements. So in other words, this time around, there's going to be a lot of chatting with NPCs where you will make decisions. You will either agree to help them, or maybe you won't, or maybe you'll ask them to come along and partake on your vessel, your ship, which is your floating platform as a base. They're going to be adding all those elements that make it an RPG, the way your choices affect the game, affect the outcome, the grand finale, things like that. So yeah, and then after that, even more things to come. So yes, Assassin's Creed, amazing. Amazing to see a franchise I love so much evolving in a way that I never thought it would, you know? Shit. My bad. Oh, jeez, is that...
I killed fools like you in my sleep.
I don't know how the hell I survived that. I just don't know how I survived that. I'm all over the place. Too busy thinking. You're right, McGraw. You played 2 first, then 1, then New Vegas, and 4. 4 is the best. Then says I hated 4. I thought 4 was by far the worst Fallout game. It's by far the best game of the whole Fallout franchise. I would never take that away from Fallout 4. It's by far the slickest. But as a Fallout game, absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious game. In a Game Informer interview with Mark Dow, when asked about Dragon Age 4, he replied with, "It's going well." Is that it? Yeah. Well, we always knew it was, yeah. There's no way they're going to drop Dragon Age 4. Inquisition sold very well, from what I understand. Yeah, same here, crew. Yeah, I was exactly the same in Metal Gear, mate. Metal Gear, if I didn't do it stealthy, it was like, yep, start a game. Reload! It's part of the magic of those games, isn't it? You can play it how you want to. But yeah, I will be... Yeah, there's a lot of games that will be day 1 or week 1 or certainly month 1. You know, depending on funding, I guess, because there are so many. But things like Days Gone, Metro Exodus, The Last of Us 2, Anthem, I think has definitely got my attention. I'll certainly be keeping an eye on it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm sure I'm missing a few. Yeah, there are some amazing games coming out. You know, Division 2. Yeah, it's a great time to be a gamer, right? There's a little bit for everybody, I think. Yeah, I can't really remember 2, mate. I know I've never properly played the first 2, but I've got memory. For example, I remember the TARDIS. There's a moment in the first Fallout where there's the TARDIS, and I remember catching something on YouTube not that long ago and thinking, oh, bloody hell, actually, I do remember this. See, to me, the Fallout 1 and 2, they're games of an era gone by. They are completely unplayable in this day and age, in my opinion. It's like Baldur's Gate. I mean, I could never, ever in my wildest dreams, and again, this is why I'm starting to rethink myself as being a Fallout fan. I don't think I am a Fallout fan at all. I'm an Elder Scrolls fan, but I'm definitely not a Fallout fan. I'm just going to say it out loud now. I think my choice is made. I think I've pondered over
What
the
the
last few
disease
days.
control department finally told us was scary.
I find it quite
Thing.
boring, actually.
Nobody was saying smallpox yet. Was virulent at 2 parts per million. Direct contact airborne contagion too.
Thanks for the follow, Dark
It
Wolf.
was scary. Then the governor declared it an emergency and they locked the city down, and we realized what kind of hell we were going to be in for. The National Guard moved in, but what were they going to do? They weren't doctors.
Yeah, when it comes to Fallout 4, so not in my wildest dreams would I ever think that Fallout 1 or 2 were even on the same level as Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was one of the most amazing experiences. It was beyond a game for me. Baldur's Gate was the most amazing adventure of my life when it came out. And I mean, I didn't play it when it first came out, but, you know, it was one of those games as an RPG or on PC, you had to play it. You had to have played Baldur's Gate. And the simple reality of the situation was that I've tried now probably, I mean, I can't even remember, guys. At least 3 times I've tried to go back and play Baldur's Gate. I've even tried Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. I've tried Baldur's Gate with some community mods that do a few things that make it a little bit more playable. And I just cannot get back into Baldur's Gate. It is simply a game that does not sit well in this day and age. There are certain things that we expect. It doesn't matter how good a game is if it plays and looks like a sack of crap. Baldur's Gate, it just feels janky. It feels like a really old game, and even the most amazing plot, character development, and all the other wonderful things that tie together, you know, the combat system, the magic system, the loot systems, the quest progression, the sense again of narrative choice that it offers, all that can't save it. I cannot play Baldur's Gate today. Although it's my favourite game probably of all time, legitimately, I can never play it again. And therefore something like Red Dead Redemption replaces my favourite game of all time, because I can still play that to this day. It's like it doesn't seem to age. It has surpassed time itself, whereas Baldur's Gate hasn't. And that's the way I feel about Fallout 1 and 2. They look crap, they feel crap. They didn't have the technology to give us the freedom that we expect in a game of a modern ilk. It's just that simple. Now, again, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of people that still play Baldur's Gate to this day and think it's an
All units
amazing
be
game.
advised.
I've
Rikers
tried,
selling
I
arms
can't.
near the underpass on East 26 and FDR.
Still off with the aim. Still not getting it right. It's definitely something about that recoil. I'm not used to having the recoil because I'm not used to... I'm used to shooting, waiting, shooting. Now I can shoot, and I just can't get the recoil down. We'll get there.
Blood's not gonna make me sick, right?
GTF reinforcements requested.
It's a shame as well. God almighty.
Warning.
This channel is
Incoming
pure
hostiles.
RPG if I could go back and play some of these old things. You see, you compare
Warning.
something like
Hostile
Baldur's Gate
forces
now
approaching.
to something like Divinity Original Sin. I mean, that game is... Oh my god.
Warning.
balls.
Explosive device detected.
Whoa, 2 shotgunners on my left flank. I didn't even see them. Look how fast we went down. Holy shit. This game is punishing, isn't it? Absolutely punishing. Fallout 4, they tried to incorporate Minecraft into the series with all the building you could do. I must admit, it was really weird. When I was playing Fallout 4, I was like, oh, this is so good, the settlement system. It's like really, really good fun. I love it. Wow, it's so cool. Way. And then the novelty of that quickly wore off, trust me. And in fact, I'm pretty sure at the time, so I can't remember, we didn't have Discord back then. But I know someone dropped me a message, well, you know, after a stream or during a stream. I got it afterwards, and I said, just check this out. And I'm sure that was the same game where I went and looked at a mod on the Nexus that they'd linked me to, along with a YouTube video. And I thought, holy shit, the survival mod, I think it was actually called the survival mod, was actually better than the implementation that Bethesda had come up with in Fallout 4. I was mind blown. They'd literally robbed it almost identically, but failed to get the complexity of it. It was like, Jesus Christ, so this actually existed even as a mod before Bethesda thought about it. It didn't surprise me in the slightest, to be honest. It was, crew. But Baldur's Gate is still a really good game, mate. It's just I can't actually play it. You know, the game hasn't, you know, the game itself hasn't become a bad game. I just can't play it. It just feels so old and cumbersome and difficult to manage, and it's just, oh, I just can't do it. And then I look at, you know, Pillars of Eternity, which, you know, I think the second one resolved the issues of the first. The first
All I'm
Pillars of
saying
Eternity
is
was
that
like
it's time for us to take responsibility and realize that we're neglecting an entire class of citizens here. We're deliberately denying U.S. citizens the medical treatment they deserve. The facilities are beyond capacity, and they're sick and dying just the same as we are out here.
Well, I think you got your priorities all out of whack, Yvonne, I'm sad to say. You're implying that it's more important for us to put the precious resources we have left, not to our public hospitals and clinics here in the city, but to send them off to take care of murderers and rapists. Is that what you're saying?
That's a massive oversimplification of the issue at hand, John. You're really not helping the discussion here.
Oh, I'm not. And you're somehow having our best interests in mind. If it were up to me, we'd send the staff home to their families and leave the inmates behind until all this blows over.
I can't believe you just said that.
Am I wrong? Is that not what most people would say if this was put to a public vote? How about we bring some of our listeners in here? What do you think?
Huh. It's interesting, isn't it, listening to the... Well, as I've said before, it's almost like watching society collapse in on itself due to such a catastrophic event. I mean, we all know what would happen, don't we? But it's a horrible truth to face, I think. But, yeah, Jesus, the world's just a crazy place now. You know, barely surviving with what law and order we try and thrust upon ourselves in, you know, on a daily basis. But something like this, Jesus Christ, it would just be a massacre, wouldn't it? It'd just be horrendous. I really can't find a decent position. I mean, this thing's got a pretty decent range, but... Shit. Should be alright. I've got this dude right down there. Starting to get in the swing of it a little bit. It's because I suppose because I was playing with James so much yesterday, I'm kind of used to them being a little bit more not necessarily officially suppressed, as in the actual debuff on them, but I am used to them having to think a little bit more about shooting at other people. I'm having to think a lot more. It's amazing how the game changes playing it solo. You know, when there's two of you and there's two targets and aggro's bouncing left and right, and you've also got the opportunity of being able to get up and out of cover and run to a different position to try and outflank them yourself. I haven't got the luxury
All
today,
units
so
be
it's
advised.
interesting dynamic.
Riker spotted near the Mercy drop at the park on Avenue C. Need retrieval team.
Sparrow 5 here. We're approaching your position now.
Got you covered, mate.
Warning. Hostile forces approaching.
This dude, there. Somebody's getting this dude, isn't they? Get out of there, bro. Got aggro. Healer team's not. Oh shit!
Warning.
shoot the ammo bag, not the armored helmet.
Bringing the hurt today.
Oh shoot, got a sniper down there. Look.
Warning. Hostile forces approaching.
Thanks for showing up. Get your ass in gear.
We've got the green flags on there. Oh, purples.
Nice shot. Don't let him find you where we want him. You're not letting up. You got him. You're right to favorite target.
Warning. Hostile forces approaching.
We were doing just fine out there.
Confirmed. Sparrow 5 is on site and ready to engage.
Is the sound alright, guys?
You all can't get me. Oh, hey, man, am I glad you're on our side.
Nice. Very nice.
Great
Felt a bit
work.
more in control.
These supplies are going to help a lot of people.
First proper engagement today, so I find it loosened up a little bit. It's
Thanks for showing up.
bouncing around from cover to cover a little bit there. Now there is a incident report somewhere around here. Be through the window, right? Do the old czar move.
We know them. They're the same under that uniform. Police, parole officers, judges, guards, child motherfucking protection officers. Fancy government agents with their fancy-ass watches and their shiny guns, prancing around like they fucking gods or something. They were gonna leave us to starve and die in there. They don't give two shits about our lives. They never have, and they never will. We just some trash in their way. They just assume we just blow right away. But we gonna be a storm instead. Gonna blow them to bits. These parasites in their shiny JTF uniforms, you know them. You've been dealing with them all your lives. All look the same on the inside. Well, let's see for ourselves, shall we? Yeah, that's what they look like on the inside. Ugly. So you make them suffer, you make them beg, you make them do whatever the hell you want. Just make sure you don't leave anyone alive.
Lorraine Barrett is an absolute monster. She's absolutely one of the worst gaming antagonists I think I've ever come across. She's horrendous. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the Infinity Engine. Does anyone here, maybe Kevin, a couple of others that are into the RPGs, did any of you pick up the new Neverwinter Nights remake? Because that was the Aurora engine, wasn't it? Which I always thought had some real potential back in the day. Obviously, things have long surpassed it now. But the Aurora engine was... It was pretty special at the time. And I remember Neverwinter Nights being a very cleverly done franchise. I used to do a lot of my own... you could build your own worlds and create your own NPCs, dialogue, combat, and all the rest of it. I used to play about with the Aurora engine quite a lot. It was one of the wonderful elements. It was like before the Bethesda Creation Kit came along. You know, back in the day we had the Aurora engine. Creating your own modules for Neverwinter Nights, had a lot of fun with it. Shotgunners are a nightmare, absolutely, crew. Scarface, yeah. Shotgunners are like your shotgunners and baseball batters. Baseball batters are a pain in the ass as well. Sometimes they seem to sneak up on you and you get a baseball bat around the side.
I've got no idea what they're doing here, but the place is crawling with them. The situation here is going from fucked to
quiet. Yeah, there's Neverwinter. They've remade, they've remastered Neverwinter, haven't they? Neverwinter Nights, and I think all the DLC that came with it. I think it's out, or it was due out, and I keep forgetting to go back and look for anything. It was like a complete remaster. I can't remember if they threw in like an extra DLC or something new. I can't remember.
I am so furious. They left me. They left me. For weeks, I did as I was told. I came to consulate. I did not contact DCD. I stayed hidden while an epidemic raged outside. And I might know better than anyone what is really going on. I hid so well, it seems, that they forgot to tell me of the evacuation. They left. This is a wonderful English phrase. In the dead of the night. I have no words. And now I'm here, in the city, under martial law, with no protection. There is only one benefit to this. Now there is no one to tell me I cannot contact DCD and offer my help, or find Dr. Amherst. Now I am free. I hope it is not too late.
Damn, look, pushchair. Oh, that's scary, isn't it? Oh, look at the rat shadow. Do you see the shadow on the rat then? Dude. They are quite cute in this game, aren't they? Little hind legs. It's interesting you mentioned about the settlement system again there. Who was there? McGrath. Yes. You've literally summed it up for me. I was really enjoying the settlement system. In particular, the building. I was really enjoying building. And then I realised how shallow the actual settlement system itself was outside of the building. I spent an inordinate amount of time building barracks, and I loved the rotating spotlights and getting electricity in, and I loved it. And then I realised all the settlers in Fallout 4 were just complete, as you've said, faceless, nameless, pointless, little bits of code. There was nothing interesting about them. I couldn't even... in the base game, you couldn't even say you set someone to being a farmer. You had no way of knowing that that person, when they were anywhere other than doing the farming, were a farmer. You were forever trying to figure out who was who. And lo and behold, yet again, the community come along and do what was exactly in the original mod. Look at that bloody Lucille right between the legs, mate. Oh my lord. And fixed it so that you can actually have little markers and icons over their heads telling you exactly what it was you'd allocated them to go and do, you know? Unbelievable. Honestly, Fallout 4, worst Fallout game ever made. Hands down, worst Fallout game. Good game. Good game. You know, I'm sure I thoroughly was enjoying, you know, the combat, the environment, you know, all the Fallout guys and
okay,
ammo
Agent.
and weapons and pitfalls.
Assuming the
that we know and
JTF
love.
squad's all dead, because, let's face it, who are we kidding? So, let's worry about the living here. You need to get those Rikers out of the building and away from my generators. Be careful, they're temperamental obese, and they're under a lot of pressure.
I'm gonna clear the zone first.
Just got a call on the landline. A landline. Can you believe it? Who knew that in all this, that would be the only thing still up and running? Anyway, the call's bad news. Got a civilian locked in a room. No way out. Gonna starve to death if you don't get there. Normally I'll take it myself, but they won't let me leave here, the bastards. So, you gotta do it, if you can.
We can do that. Reckon it's down. We've got to go down, do you? No. I don't know whether to play Fallout. What do you reckon? Did you fancy a Fallout 4 playthrough at some point? I don't mind giving it a go now that I know what I'm getting into. Because you know, when it first came out, I was upset because I didn't want it to be a shit game. But I think if I go back to it knowing that freedom of choice, etc., is a bit shallow, well, we could still progress through the game. I guess.
Over at the consulate. Don't try and be a hero.
What was that on Scarface YouTube or? I was harsh on Vampire, mate. I was harsh. I'm not gonna lie, but that's because it was doing such an amazing job of being so unique, and then it stopped being so special, and I was kind of devastated, really. Have a healing kit, mate. He's been a bit of a pain in the arse, isn't he? Those snipers. Well, as soon as you decided to come along and take the first shot, mate. Good teamwork, eh? It's like playing with James then.
Now that was some shooting.
It's amazing how different it is playing solo.
Dan,
Good
you
fun,
stopped
mate.
leaving messages. Why'd you stop leaving messages, Dan? I have news. Tons of things to tell you. I'm doing better. Found some folks to hang with. The right crowd. Strength in numbers. We take what we want, who we want, when we want. We eat every single day. Darwin, man. These are my people. We're gonna survive. You're never gonna hear this. It's gonna live on an NSA server somewhere in Nevada, like the nuclear waste they bury in the desert with the cockroaches nothing can kill. Soon we'll all be gone. The cockroaches will rule the earth. Good fucking riddance.
He's a cheery soul there, the post-apocalypse. You're a huge fan of Bioware games, including all forms of Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights. You haven't played the Enhanced Edition. You'll have to have a look at it, Letheon. Check it out on YouTube, even if you don't buy it, mate. Yeah, I'd like to have a look at it, crew, to see what it's like. Gonna throw yourself back in code and see if I can survive the server collapse this time. I'm getting sick of having to start over and over again. That's not on our server, is it, McGraw? Whose server are you playing on? What's happening? That doesn't sound good. It is weird, isn't it, Blind? Yeah. Yeah. Or even I'm sure, here's an interesting thing, Blind. It's something that I've often thought about. It's actually, I mean, I understand. I mean, to be fair, Blind, you know, we are looking at it as non-game developers, right? I do understand that, say, for example, somebody creates a mod like fishing. Mortal Enters creates a fishing mod in 7 days. It's very easy for us to say, why don't the 7 days, you know, the fun pimps approach Mortal Enters and say, look, it is 500 quid, it's £1,000, or would you mind if we just integrate your mod into our game? Code for code, blah blah blah. And Mortal Enters would probably say, of course I do. You know, go for it, mate. Do whatever you want with it. You know, it's a privilege that you've come to me and asked me. Some people might say, okay, well, you know, stick my name on the credits. You know, a little extra, you know, fishing mod by such and such, or whatever it is. But it's not that simple, is it, mate? It's simply not that simple. And I think we know, as a real world example, Wildcard and Ark, we know how much more complicated than it really is. With the S+, S+ was an infamous mod on Wildcard's Ark game. They were heavily funded. Wildcard did give them a slice of the $50,000 pie to keep developing S+ through various iterations and updates on the core game. And ultimately did start incorporating it into their game. So Wildcard sort of did it, but it just goes to show how it's not just a case of plug and play. Modders tend to have to work cleverly. They tend to, it's like me modding Skyrim. Sometimes I have to cheat the core code to get things to work. For example, I may have to have what essentially are dirty edits within my files that the game is not going to like, but I have to have them there to trick the core game into making it work. So it's not really a case of just like, oh look, this mod works, let's just add it to the code. You know, there's a lot more to that, as I'm sure you know, Blind. But yes, it still does surprise me that there aren't more people that did what Wildcard did, which is like, you know, the fun pimps. Yeah, they hired all these new world builders. They hired this new AI specialist. They hired this new, you know, gentleman, I believe that he is, who's, you know, cleaning up the old code. Have they ever approached somebody like Jax Teller or Mortalentus of Starvation mod fame? And Jax from Ravenhurst? Subquake, who did the wonderful UI? Have they ever been approached by the fun pimps to say, oh, look, we really like what you're doing. Let's open up some dialogue. I don't know. You know, Wildcard actively, you know, kept in touch with their modding community, didn't they? They only set $50,000 aside. I'm sure it wasn't more than that, which is a drop in the ocean considering the amount of sales they got. So yes, it does, you know, maybe RimWorld is a good example. I don't know how much like the RimWorld creator, you know, liaises with the modding community to get feedback on things they've implemented and how the player base are finding it and things like that. It does seem an untapped potential. You'd prefer Skyrim over Fallout, Daxos? Really? You're right, Phoenix. Yeah, we started, I can't remember, we started about 2 hours ago, mate. At 6 o'clock. Something like that, dude. You're on different servers. You pick a low ping official or not, and you get kicked or banned, or the server disappears. That don't sound good, McGraw. Is that just you, or you're right, Spanky Ham?
I need to eat some.
Yeah, it's. And the other thing that we don't know as well, it's very easy for us to say, oh, you know, incorporate. You know, let's use the fishing mod as an example. What Mortalentus obviously doesn't have access to and won't know about is the fact that, you know, Unity 2017 is going to change the base code of the game. So there's no point in them introducing a mod only to have to then redo the mod anyway. You know, the rewrite of the base code is 7 days plus the transfer to the new engine. You know, all the mods are going to be broken. End of story. So I suppose you know, it's not as simple as. As I guess. Oh god, I just suddenly realised they're snipers, aren't they? Shit. Bloody shotgun. I'm having to sort of time it so the oh, I'm getting hit back there. Felt like I hit him. What the hell? How is that not hitting him? That was weird. Yeah, suck it. I thought he was going to get me there. I was a bit slow on that, wasn't I? I think a millisecond later I'd have been reeling from a headshot, I think. Yeah, I definitely felt I got the other dude on 2 occasions. The guy just behind that there. Him. Knobber. Cheat.
Civilians secure.
Ooh, how do you like that? You keep saving the people around here, they're gonna give you my job. Not that I'll ever let that happen.
Got quite a nice performance mod we just picked up. M60 blueprint. Okay. Where are we off to?
I've got no idea what they're doing here, but the place is crawling with them. The situation here is going from fucked to foobar. We need backup. Do you hear me? They're getting closer.
How you doing, Darth? Yeah, take care, Alethea. Look after yourself, mate. Up top one. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We'll go and get ourselves a nice fresh coffee in a minute. I reckon. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to. I do fancy, you know, it's tricky. I'm busy working on a Skyrim mod at the minute. It's a bloody good looking mod, but I'm also trying to get it running at a very lock 60, which is proving to be very difficult. That new 64-bit special edition is proving to be somewhat erratic. Some of it's some of its areas. I'm having to add some occlusion mapping to it to get it to behave a little bit. But I also have to say I've not played Fallout, and I suppose Fallout has got guns. I still genuinely don't feel I've ever really played Fallout the way Fallout was probably meant to be played. I'm sure there's lots of community fixes and bug fixes, and there's new dialogue options now, aren't there, that actually give you some idea of what it is that you're actually going to ask, rather than like a 2-word summary.
It's been a long time, my friend. A long time since I told you about my adventures, my duty to the city even. You see, I was attacked by a great many of those escaped prisoners, but I fought them. And even though I was outnumbered, I escaped through the window. I haven't been back since. It's too dangerous. All my notes, all my gadgets, all my tools of justice must remain behind. But I will find a new lair. And I will plot my revenge. And when the time comes, I will re-emerge once again and show them the power of justice.
You actually can hit the railings, can't you? I think I noticed it earlier. I can actually hit that and the bullet won't go through it. There's some pretty fancy hit detection going on there. Oh, you didn't hear music. Oh, is it still not working? Oh, guys. Oh, I just don't know what the problem is. Oh, I don't believe it's not working, guys. I spent hours trying to fix this yesterday. Oh, I just don't believe it, mate. Oh, mate, I'm absolutely devastated. That means I actually don't know how to fix it, guys. It's Windows 10. It's completely fucked my sound. Oh, I feel like bursting into tears right now, man. That is fucking unbelievable. Trying to have a quick look at something. I just can't fucking believe that. Hours, probably 4 hours in total yesterday, troubleshooting this. Remember we had it all the time a while back, all the time, just constantly, it just wouldn't work. Or it stopped working, and now that I'm so pissed. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus. Hang on a second. Let me just have a look at something. Streaming is starting to become a massive, massive pain in the ass from a technological viewpoint, I tell you. Windows 10 and all the stuff we use, it's just starting, every update there's something else fucking cocks up. Yeah, I don't even know what else I can change, guys. And there's no way for me to fix it. So the problem is I can't fix it without stopping the stream, and I can't test it because there's no one thing that breaks it. Can you hear that? Can you hear bing bong bing? If I do this, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear that? Voice meter? What's voice meter? I don't use voice. You talking about voice meter banana? I don't use voice meter banana. It's got nothing to do with voice meter banana. It's just straightforward desktop audio, mate. Can't hear that. No. Oh, fuck it. We had it fixed for so long. Let me just have a quick look at some of my notes from the last time.
Something's wrong with me. I think I need a doctor.
Yeah, there's just no reason for it not to be working. So basically, we can't have sounds anymore. All the sounds are playing through VLC Media Player rather than Windows, which was part of the original problem. Windows kind of it takes control. There was a setting. I think it's called something like I'm trying to think what it was called now. Let things take exclusive. Allow applications to take exclusive control or something. No, because no, it's not that smart. No, we'll go around in circles. I've tried everything, mate. On it, honestly, there is no reason for it not to be working. None at all, mate. Everything. See, OBS is actually playing it. This is what's so frustrating. OBS is actually playing the sound. In the sense that OBS is picking it up. I've got volume mixer levels on OBS. So to me, I can hear it. OBS can hear it. OBS just is not putting it out. But it's not an OBS problem. It is a Windows problem. And I'm fucking annoyed now.
I think I need a doctor.
Windows 10 audio is an absolute fucking nightmare. Everything is right. Audio is correct. So you won't be able to hear that. I can hear Blakey Lake, but you guys can't. Desktop audio device is set correctly. I can see the desktop audio volume mixer for Blakey Lake's intros working. The bot is set to play music through the correct. Let's just double check. That is playing through the correct. Yeah, that's playing through the correct output. Deep bot audio output is set to the right thing. Other people have some problems. Same problem on forums. You got any links to them, Smartenlaw? See, I fixed it, dude. See, this is what's so annoying. I fixed it for like literally from the last Windows update to this update. However long that's been, months, mate, months and months, and everything's been fine. And now, literally yesterday, it stopped working again. And even if I fix it, it'll stop working halfway through the stream. And the problem is I have to have this, guys. I literally can't stream without this stuff because I'm going to miss notifications. So, you know, I'm going to miss follows. I'm going to miss subs. I'm going to miss... I hate Windows 10. Is there any way for me to go back to Windows 7 or something? I'm going to have to, aren't I? It's, honestly, Windows 10, I despise it. It's archaic. You can't even output still. Still, on Windows, you can't output to multiple audio devices. You still cannot do it without using virtual audio cables. It's absolutely the most archaic, up its own arse operating system. I love it. I love the OS, but I can't stand it for... I cannot stand it for audio. I'm just going to stop the stream. I'll be back in a sec.